Hello, hello, hello. There is another video time for how is the market. And this time I have Diane from Jersey, New Jersey, Jersey Shore. So we know Jersey Shore from the TV, the TV serial and so, but let's know the real New Jersey, Spring Hill, New Jersey. She's a team lead realtor and she's going to give you the lot of insight about the market condition, the lifestyle, and if you're planning to move over there, or maybe you want to take a vacation before you even move there. So let's check with Diane what's going on over there. Diane, welcome to How is the Market, Spring Hill, New Jersey. So let's talk about yourself. Who you are. What you do. Where you located.
Shawn, first of all, thank you so much for having me today. It's really an honor to be part of your inner circle of friends. I've known Shawn for several years through our coaching group, and he's just a wonderful person to work with. So I'm very appreciative that you share your community with me. So how's the market? Gosh, let me tell you a little bit about myself first. I'm a team leader in Spring Lake, New Jersey. We call it the Irish Riviera of the Jersey Shore. I have 4 agents that work with me. We have a full-time admin and a part-time marketing person. And of course, I coach with Tom Ferry's organization. We have a very niche market here at the Jersey Shore. It's a luxury market, but if you go 5 miles out, the prices drop from a median sales price of $3 million to $500,000. So, it's everything in real estate, location, location, location. We happen to be in the best town, I think, at the Jersey Shore. I raised my children here. It's a quaint little town, only about 2 square miles. We have about 6,000, 7,000 residents. And a lot of them are part-timers because Spring Lake is only an hour and a half to Manhattan, and it's an hour and a half to Philadelphia as well.
Oh, that's now Spring Lake, that city or the town is on the ocean, like it's by the beach.
It is.
Now, let's talk about the beach life. Do you have almost the same beach life like South Florida, or is it a little different?
Well, the water is a lot colder. The summer is a lot shorter. The difference also between South Florida and New Jersey is that all New Jersey beaches you have to pay to get on. And since COVID, that has become a major, major problem because each town limits the number of seasonal badges it sells now. And the daily badges can get sold out by 9:30 or 10 a.m. on a weekend. So it's not easy to get on the beaches in New Jersey right now. But, the sand's different. The water is a lot rougher than the Gulf Coast of Florida, that's for sure. Yeah. But, they're beautiful beach towns. Some of them have things like boardwalks with rides and arcades. You would find that in like Point Pleasant Beach, which is only about 5 miles from here. And to our north, we've got towns like Belmar and Asbury Park. And a lot of people have heard about Asbury Park. It's really turned around in the last 5 to 10 years. Real estate wise in there now, things are selling for $1 million and more, where 10, 15 years ago, it was like a ghost town. So it's now like one of the coolest towns in New Jersey, according to New Jersey Monthly Magazine. So Spring Lake, though, is more of a quiet town. Our boardwalk is not commercial at all. We have a little downtown shopping district where you'll find maybe 30 shops. There's not a traffic light in town to be had. People live here, don't lock their doors kind of things. When I lived here, I used to leave my car keys in my ignition in my car so I wouldn't lose my car keys. And then every time I sold a house, I had to get keys made because we never lock doors here. It's very safe, very like small town USA. Everybody knows everybody. And that's
very good. Yeah.
It has excellent schools too, by the way. So most of these little shore towns have their own elementary schools, and then they go to like a regional high school. Spring Lake people go to Manasquan High School. It's an excellent school. But the difficult thing about living in Spring Lake is the price point. You really can't get into town for under $1 million anymore. The most expensive houses go for about 15 million. And it's tough. There's 8 houses on the market. You know, in a good year, there's 40. So it's like, it's so funny because I hear so many agents, oh, you know, we sold 300 houses this year. I'm like, 300 houses, even if I sold every house in town for the last 10 years, I could probably maybe sell 300 houses, you know, so we're a small market.
Now, Spring Lake, you know, what is famous for? Like, you know, when if someone has to visit Spring Lake, like what are the things, you know, the attraction and so?
You know, it's really just the beauty of the town itself. It was established in the late 1800s. Unfortunately, a lot of those really beautiful old Victorians are being taken down.
Oh.
There's so much money to be had for developers in Spring Lake that it's not unusual for someone to buy something for $3 million, tear it down, build something new, and sell it for 8 or 9. But they have been very strict on the zoning. So it's a meticulously maintained restricted zoning means that you don't have houses sitting on top of each other. You know, you can't come in Spring Lake, buy something on a 150 by 150 lot, which is huge, by the way, because most are 50 by 150. But you are not going to be able to come in, take that 150, tear down that house and put 3 up in its place. So it's an exquisitely beautiful town, meticulously maintained, and people want to be here. You know, it's a no-nonsense luxury town that doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. Like, we're kind of comparable to the Hamptons, except that our property sizes are much smaller.
Okay, got you. Now, what are the surrounding areas of Spring Lake? What other cities you have?
Sure. So we have our sister town. We call it Seagirt. That's Seagirt, which is just to the south of us. Another small town that's demographically similar. And people are generally very opinionated about which town they like better. For me, when I moved down here from up north, Jersey, Spring Lake was a no-brainer for me. It had the cute little downtown with all the stores. Seagirt's downtown is mostly commercial. Spring Lake has 3 lakes, one in the northern border, one in the southern border, and one in the little. And remember, it's only 2 miles wide. So it's real pretty. But again, if you want something that's not going to cost you $3 million to buy a nice house, you can go a little bit further south of Seagirt is Manasquan. A lot of people have heard of Manasquan. There, you know, you can buy into town for maybe $700,000. They have a beautiful downtown in Manasquan too. That town is a little bit bigger though. And then further south from there, you can cross over the bridge and get into Ocean County, which is where your Point Pleasant Beach is. A lot of people know that town as well. Now, if you head inland, just west of Spring Lake is Spring Lake Heights. And it's the literal cross the railroad tracks and see the prices decline, right? So for instance, a house in Spring Lake Heights, where you can be 1 block further west than Spring Lake, brand new construction there might cost you $1 million, where crossing the tracks 1 block in, that new construction is going to cost you $3 million. Wow. So a lot of people love Spring Lake Heights. They have the different elementary school, same high school, and there's this small area where if you are east of a highway but west of the tracks, you've got a great location at a quarter of the price potentially. Then as you head north, we've got Belmar, again, a little bit more commercial. Prices are lower in Belmar. Their zoning wasn't as strict. So you can find houses on like a 40 by 100 lot or something like that. But even now, like Oceanfront in Belmar, it's going to cost you like $2.5 million, where Oceanfront Spring Lake is going to cost you $5-6 million and up. And then as you head north, you'll run into Asbury Park, a little bit further north still, Long Branch. These are towns that people know about. And they're all, because all these beach towns are so small, you know, I mean, I used to be a runner, so I could run from my house all the way up through, I'd go through Lake Como, Belmar, Bradley Beach, Avon, and then get to Asbury Park. And I'd run back, and that's only 10 miles. So you can see how we're so small town at the Jersey Shore. And by the way, you happened to mention the show, The Jersey Shore, you know, so far from reality. That's down in Seaside Heights, which isn't that much further. For me, it's about 10, 15 miles. But That's not the real Jersey Shore. It's Jersey Shore gets a bad rap. But you saw what they did. Same thing. My other house is in Siesta Key, and Siesta Key has this TV show, and it's nothing like the real Siesta Key.
It's all set up. They're not real. Yeah. Now, yeah, I'm here by Fort Lauderdale, by the east side, southeast Florida. We still have a lot of affordable homes here. You still can get a nice, starter home for $300,000, $350, close to 400, and then in $1 million, you can definitely looking for a big single family home with pool and 5,000 square feet and so. So we still have some good prices here, and then of course the weather. Our winter is the best time, and then summer, yeah, we do have a little humid weather, but it's just okay. Most of the time you are inside anyway. So, and then the beaches are definitely long from Miami to Palm Beach. A lot of different beaches, and so that's from this side here. Now, Dan, let me ask you something about. I know that Jersey and Philly, they share the border. So how far your city, Spring Lake, from Philly?
Oh, it's a good ways. We are, that's the total opposite coast of New Jersey. Okay. So for me, I don't know miles, but for me to drive to Philly is about an hour and 15, an hour and a half.
Okay.
And so what my team and I service is really, we go along the Jersey Shore, everywhere from Atlantic Highlands, which is when you cross over the bridge, the Driscoll Bridge. We call that like separating North Jersey from the shore. You come over this really big bridge and you're like, wow, now we're getting close to the beach. So we service from Atlantic Highlands down through Seaside Heights into Seaside Park. That's about 50 miles maybe. And then, but we only go inland to maybe 5-10 miles. So while there's a lot of ground that we cover, we're not like, oh, we sell all of Jersey, because we are truly local experts. Like everyone on my team lives within the parameters of where we sell. And
so that's good. Now, with your whole market, not only just Spring Lake, from your down south to up north, the whole full market, like what are the affordable price range, and for a starter home, say somebody just starting their family, want to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home or condo, what kind of price we are looking at?
Sure. So really in most of the beach towns, for a single family home that's in decent shape, you're going to pay $500,000, even in some of the less expensive towns. Now, if you go further, inland, if you go that 5-10 miles, it's even difficult to buy anything for under $400,000 in a single family home. However, if you are okay with a condominium, then we can find some things for you that are a little bit cheaper, that, not too close to the beach, but you might get in for $350. It's a little tough in that area. Then we've got some places where you don't own the land. If you buy a single family home, the land is leased. And those places, it's a little bit cheaper for you to get a home close to the water.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you have single family home where there's a land lease.
Yeah, we do. We have some of those. There's a whole town actually called Ocean Grove, which we didn't really touch much on. That was built by the Methodists in the early 1800s, and they own all the land in the town. Every time a house sells in that town, the new owners get a 100-year lease, and the lease is really cheap. But then if you go further down south, like past Point Pleasant, past Bay Head and Manaloking, there are tiny little sections down there all along a peninsula where a lot of the land was bought by families years ago that developed associations, and the association owns the land and you lease it. Those leases are not as long and they're a lot more tricky to navigate. I find most of my buyers tend to stay away from it because while the house looks cheap, when you incorporate taxes, which in New Jersey are high, and you incorporate your land lease and your flood insurance, all of a sudden the prices really start to get to be like not such a bargain.
Got you. Now we have here, some condominiums, they have especially senior communities. They do have, rec lease or land lease. Now, they are actually part of the association fee, so that's what they pay. So this single family home with a land lease, how do a new homeowner pay?
So you pay for the lease on an annual basis. It's not part of your HOA fees. That would be separate. And then, of course, your taxes pay the municipality as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, there are very few of those available. But sometimes people will be like, oh my gosh, there's a house on the beach and it's $600,000. Why can't I buy that? Well, you can, but you don't own the land. And for some people, they don't care. They just want to be that beachfront. For other people, they're like, oh, no. I don't want to get involved in that.
Yeah. So it's a personal choice. So okay, so in in your town or surrounding area, so we spoke about the some attractions. So normally, what are the entertainment other than the beach? Is there any other special for the family entertainment? Where do you guys normally go? Like what kind of entertainment you have for the weekend and so?
Sure. So before COVID, it was a lot easier, as you can imagine. New Jersey is very strict with COVID restraints on businesses. However, we have some of the best open air bars, restaurants on the water, all up and down the coast. You'll find those. It's more and more difficult to get in because of the restrictions that they put on the limiting the number of patrons that are allowed inside and outside as well. But we've got that. Of course, the ocean brings so many things, surfing, stand-up paddleboards, wave runners, all that. Boating is huge down here. There's marinas all over the place and some waterfront homes where you can dock your own boat. A lot of the beach towns, again, have the boardwalks where they've got rides and arcades. We've got some really nice state parks where you can go camping locally and not feel like you're at the beach. We are about half an hour from Great Adventure, which is a big Six Flags park. A lot of people go there. I mean, we're, a train ride, a ferry ride, a car ride to Manhattan, which is an hour and 15 minutes, if that's the kind of culture you want. We also have theaters like the Count Basie Theater in Red Bank, named after the Count himself, where I'm getting older, and a lot of the entertainers that I liked when I was in high school are now doing these tours, and they'll play at the Count Basie. We have a beautiful outdoor theater where major concerts are held. It's called the PNC Bank Arts Center, and it's a big outdoor theater. Last year that was predominantly closed. It is open this year. I'll be curious to see how they're going to handle concerts. We've got great nightlife. Most of it's open all year, but some of it does close in the winter time.
Okay, that's good. So you guys have that because it's a small town and then people know each other probably they're living there for a long time. So you have that great culture. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty to do, and you have to go maybe 5 miles west to hit what we call a highway. It's one lane each direction, 35 miles an hour. But there you've got all kinds of great shopping, like your Banana Republic, Gaps and Ann Taylor's and things like Staples and all the grocery stores. So they're not in the beach towns because the land is just too valuable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's 5 mile drive and you're there.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah,
I love that living. That's very good, actually.
It's really nice. It is really nice.
So that's good.
We didn't really kind of touch on when we discussed the market what's going on as far as how difficult it is to buy a house, which I know all over the country is seeing. I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Are you having people, where from people moving to area, like they're coming from the north, or where they're going out? So let's talk about all this.
Sure. So in a pre-COVID world, most of our buyers came from North Jersey, from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour and a half away also, and Manhattan. That's where most of our buyers came in. Once COVID hit, and of course now people can work from anywhere, the influx out of Manhattan was huge. So last March, when I had a buyer contacted me and said she wanted to put an offer in on a $3 million house in one of the luxury towns. It's a little bit further north, but still within reach of my market that I cover. I said, well, we're not showing houses right now. She said, no problem. Can you get me a video? I got her a video. This is March, okay? Like everything is shut down in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And she's living in Manhattan, Upper West Side. She has a beach house in Seagirt, and she wants to buy this house in this town called Rumson. So I get her a video. We put an offer in. I'm thinking, I haven't had anybody call me to buy a house or list a house. We had to go over $100,000 over asking price mid-March to get this house because there were so many offers on it. Now that town, Rumson, is about a half an hour north of me. We were not seeing the New York City influx yet in Spring Lake in March. They came and they started with us in May. But in March, those towns, those luxury towns are a little bit further north because of the proximity to the ferry that will take you to Manhattan. They were in bidding wars in March when I'm thinking, and by the way, that we did win a bidding war eventually on her second house. We won the bidding war once I knew what was going on. Those buyers spent $3,100,000. They did not set foot in the house until after it closed and they had it sanitized. $3 million house, they never ever saw it, in person until it was theirs. Fast forward May, that started happening. They started coming further and further south. It started in Spring Lake, where our luxury market had been dead since 2018. All of a sudden, last year, houses $5 million and up were like gone. And I'm like, this is crazy. Now, fast forward, we're still a year later. By the way, the influx from Manhattan or out of Manhattan was over 300,000 people, it's been determined. So now every price point has a bidding war. You have to go at least 10% over asking. And the people who are winning these bidding wars aren't cash buyers or people who have a lot of money to put down, which I'm sure is, it's just what the market is. And I've got some people who are FHA buyers who are, trying to buy their first home, and they're getting so frustrated and so discouraged. So it's not an easy market, not for the faint of heart to be in this market right now.
Yeah, that's see, that's what's a lot of time, especially first-time home buyer, they need people like you who has experience and put the offer together. This is tough when somebody is just putting a 5% down payment and want to buy a home. And then these cash buyers, they're coming from, either out of town or they want to buy something. It's a tough market.
Yeah, we've had to get really creative with our terms. And by the way, New Jersey is an attorney review state. And while we are in attorney review, either party can kill the deal, walk away, no financial or legal ramifications. So I have had a buyer who we have put in offers on 3 different properties, 2 out of the 3 of them, and the sellers killed the deal when better offers came in. Wow. So you think you've got it all locked up, and then the next thing you know, you're getting a letter, sorry, we're bumping you. And my most recent buyer, there were over 70 showings. This 1 week this house was on the market. There were 22 offers, and my lady got it. Yeah, we were, we're writing some very creative terms to make it easier on the sellers.
Yeah, plus the reputation works also. When the listing agency that something coming from the realtor is very reputable, means you build up that credibility, you see. So.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm 17 years in the business right now. Mm-hmm. And we've got great coaches and great community. A lot of the ideas I'm coming up with and I'm putting in my contracts, they're not my own, but they're like, wow, that's a great idea. And, so thank goodness for the coaching community and friends like you who we can network with and come up with these.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Get our buyers their houses.
Yeah, this ecosystem is great. We learned so much,
Yes.
And everyone is, in the ecosystem, we are hustling, in the market always. It's not just a theory in the book, because we are going through every single day. And the real estate market, since 2007, 2008, every single year or every 6 months, there's a huge change in the market, like either this way or that way. So
Yes.
you have to constantly, keep on top of it. Yeah.
Well, in our predictions in New Jersey for people who are thinking, like, wow, it sounds kind of tough. Should I really like jump in right now, right? And I would just say that depends on your individual circumstances. Talk to somebody who really knows what they're doing. Not a brand new agent. Either they just don't have the tools or the knowledge to really, get you through the weeds in this incredibly difficult time.
Yes.
But their predictions for New Jersey are for it to increase anywhere from 4 to 6% next year,
Yep.
2022, 4 to 6% 2023, and then anywhere from 3 to 4% in 2024 and 2025. So I saw an example of someone who purchased a $500,000 house this year. If they wait 5 years, that house is going to cost them $582,000 and change.
Yeah.
So, if you are able to buy now, it probably is a good time to buy, but again, you need to talk to a professional about it.
Yeah. And then look, if somebody's financing, look at the interest rate.
Yeah. Yep. And they tick down again. They did tick up a little bit, but they just ticked down again.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had a little bit of concerns about that. So it was good to see those rates holding pretty much.
Yeah. And this is a good time to buy and lock that rate for a 30-year mortgage or 15 years mortgage, So
right.
Definitely that's a smart move. Yeah. So Dan, definitely a lot of great information. I never knew about a Spring Hill and then the lifestyle. I love the lifestyle you guys have. You still keeping up with that traditional culture, and like you say, a lot of road doesn't even have lights.
No traffic lights, not a single traffic light in town, not one.
Wow.
Not one. Yeah, it's a neat little place. Most people have heard of it locally, Manhattan and whatnot. They know it. It got some notoriety. Locals say, unfortunately, I thought it was great. About 10 years ago, Mercedes actually did a commercial, and they put like Spring Lake, like here's a car driving in the Hamptons, here's one driving in Spring Lake, and it's like, oh, everyone's like, no, like keep us off the radar. But we're on the radar big time.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Thanks, Dan. A lot of great information. Thanks for joining in. And for our audience, if you have any question, please, if you're watching this in YouTube or any social media, put a comment. Either myself or Dan will be glad to answer your questions. And anything we can help. It's not always about buying or selling. We are here as a resource for yourself. We have resource through our coaching, through our Diane, you are with Coldwell Banker, I believe, isn't it?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, I'm with REMAX. So we both are, big, very established companies, and we can always give you the best advice, power, knowledge, and reach out to us. We are here to help. Thanks for watching, and we're going to catch up next week with another episode of How's the Market. Thanks, Dan. Thanks for joining again.
Thank you.
Okay.